Tonight on News 5 Live, the Prime Minister trashes the definitive agreement in Parliament. But why the about-face? We'll show you the fireworks inside the National Assembly over the controversial agreement. Stevedore's rally outside of the PBL compound as the countdown to industrial action continues. And tonight, on the bright side, a father and son's bond through football. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Bye. Why long time to try call you?
Meet Alex.
Where they go on, man?
Alex signed up for a Digi One premium bundle. He's loving it. With his free mobile plan, Alex can talk and surf on the go as much as he wants. Topping up and buying data is a thing of the past. Alex now has Digi TV. He enjoys all his games and his favorite shows, no matter if he's on the go or at home. And Alex also enjoys the fastest, most reliable home internet speeds with his DigiNet service. He is living his best life. Alex bundled. Alex is saving $70 monthly compared to purchasing these services from the other providers. Be like Alex. Sign up for your Digi One bundle package today. Digi One. One bundle, no hassle, exceptional value.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Nestled away in the quaint Belize River Valley, Black Orchid's Panda River Restaurant offers a variety of great dining areas and experiences with an excellent variety of local and international cuisine, with healthy meal options for vegans and those with health concerns. Your delectable dining can be topped off with our excellent desserts, natural fruit juices, and exquisite wine and drink options. All prepared by our certified chef and award-winning mixologist. Come to Panda River Restaurant and River Rum Bar to relax in the pool or use our excellent conference facilities combined with great dining.
A diamond in the jungle.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
My name is Wilmer De La Rosa from Santa Elena Town. I am currently a student at Cayo, set for employment training. Enrolled in the electrical installation program. In late July 2021, I got a confirmation that I was a successful applicant and would be granted a scholarship from Social Security Board. It was one of the proudest moments for me. I felt very excited to start this new path in my life. So far on my journey as a Social Security Board scholar, my vocational technical scholarship has assisted me in achieving my life goals in so many ways. For one, it has renewed sense of purpose, another chance at professional development, and a start at a new career. This opportunity has paved the way for me to excel in life as an individual and as a member of society. Great things are coming after I graduate from SET. I can promise you that applying for a vocational technical scholarship through the Social Security Board is simple and easy. I would advise young people in need to apply. It is possible to create a fulfilling and fruitful life with a Social Security scholarship. Believe in yourself and your abilities and skills. I always say the key is to always keep an open mind and let your determination be your motivation.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, June 16th. I am Anwin Apollonia. This morning, following a series of fiery exchanges in the House of Representatives, Prime Minister John Briceño rubbished the definitive agreement signed by government and Portico in 2020. Tearing up a copy of the controversial deal comes several weeks after the very same document, along with proposed legislation, was presented to Cabinet. As we've reported, the introduction of the white paper and its accompanying bill was met with strong objection from senior ministers in the Briceño administration. Since then, several ministers have sounded off on the obscene definitive agreement, and the opposition leader has been on the offensive. So what prompted PM Briceño's about face in Parliament today, considering the fact that he was the one who initially embraced the agreement? We begin our newscast tonight with an extended look at what took place in the National Assembly this morning and what preceded the Prime Minister's actions. But first, here's PM Briceño publicly condemning the document while taking aim at opposition leader Shine Barrow.
Now, let me tell you something about your corrupt definitive UDP definitive agreement. That was not approved by my cabinet. We did not approve it. I am telling you right now, this no good for nothing. So all of that nice one they make, no good, nothing. You know why? Because we are going to do what's right by Belize. The hypocrisy of these people. We will discuss with the key stakeholders, including Royal Caribbean, one of the leading cruise lines in the world, as well as our legitimate partners. And with full transparency, Madam Speaker, we will do only what is good for the tourism industry and good for Belize. We will be fair, and we will proceed only with the approval of the Cabinet and this Honorable House, Madam Speaker. So, Honorable Member from Mesopotamia, your 5 minutes are up. Your antics are over, and your treasonous behavior of
Madam Speaker,
of writing companies abroad.
On a point of order,
treasonous what?
No,
what is the point?
No, the point, you don't need to. I'll ask that the reference of treasonous not be included. There must be another word you can find.
Before the Prime Minister shredded the original version of the definitive agreement, the leader of the opposition was allowed to ask the first of 3 questions submitted last Thursday. That question triggered a back and forth across the aisle that ultimately led to the Prime Minister asking Shine Barrow if he was being paid to take the position that he has taken against Portico's definitive agreement.
Will the Minister of Finance and Economic Development please tell this Honorable House why his ministry recommended the Portico definitive agreement for Cabinet's approval and related legislation?
Last July, the beleaguered leader of the opposition, Madam Speaker, asked, and now let me quote, will the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment please tell this Honourable House what he is doing to find solutions to the problems that are stalling the Waterloo Port project proposal, which, if approved, will bring tremendous economic development for Belize? Now, he comes back this year now to ask my ministry, why my ministry is recommending the Portico definitive agreement for the cabinet approval and related legislation. It's so obvious, it's patently obvious what this man is doing. He is singing for his, or he's rapping for his supper.
Madam Speaker, on a point of order.
You, no man, no, but Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, on a point of order.
No, Prime
Pick
Minister,
up yourself, man. Man up yourself. Man up
Have a
yourself.
seat.
No, you are not.
It is the
you are not
standing orders.
No, but you are not.
When
the
I raise
speaker.
for a point of order, he should sit, Madam Speaker.
And you should keep quiet when I'm talking. I've heard your
Madam
point of
Speaker.
order. Prime Minister, I will ask for clarity of records to clarify what it is that you are stating about singing or rapping for one supper.
Obviously, he feels that he's doing his job, that's what he's being paid for. You're not being paid
Madam
for?
Speaker, on a point of order. Paid
No.
for by who?
You're asking a question. No. Continue, Prime
Paid
Minister.
for by who, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, he's imputing that I have ill motives. He's imputing improper motives, Madam Speaker. You asked for clarification, and he said, paid, I'm doing what I'm being paid for by who?
Speaker of the House, Valerie Woods, had to call a recess during the debate on the definitive agreement after an argument erupted between the leader of the opposition and members of the government. It began with Barrow rising from his seat to raise a point of order. Following his point of order, a government representative called out Barrow for raising his voice on the microphone when getting up to speak. Anthony Mahler, the Minister of Tourism, then chimed in, at which point Barrow accused Mahler of physically assaulting one of his cabinet colleagues. Speaker Woods commented on the outburst at the adjournment.
This House is on recess for the next 5 minutes.
It's simple. Both sides need to follow the standing orders. And I will get up the entire House meeting every time a standing order is violated. And the standing orders make clear that no member of the House can impute improper motives on any member of the National Assembly. And the Prime Minister said a member of the National Assembly was committing an illegal act, a corrupt act. And so that is what happens when you impute improper motives on members. That is what happens when you insult members, when you go from debating the substance of bills, of legislations, of motions, to name calling. I didn't threaten anyone.
To accuse Mr. Mahler of physically assaulting one of his colleagues.
I definitely heard that. I don't know if that is true.
Were you just threw it out.
No, I heard, because I heard that from a very reliable source within the cabinet.
I cannot tell you when I exited the chamber, for the times that I exited, the amount of text I have gotten, because apparently the media, which is their right, caught the clip in recess. None of it is on official Hansard, thank goodness. But it is out there. So there is a record. And it speaks to language. Language that the women, all women parliamentarians in this chamber, both sides and the other side, has taken an issue with. And it cannot be countenanced, even if it is captured on recess and not on the record. It is unfortunate that I was not in the chamber, because I would never have allowed it.
According to Prime Minister Briceño, as many as 17 titles for lands adjacent to Northern Lagoon were issued just a few days before the November 2020 general elections. He says that those properties were subsequently sold to Portico.
The honorable member from Corozal North, who he has sitting beside him, how is it that around the same time when they're fixing up the definitive agreement, because you know it's a package, you know, it's a package, and not just the definitive agreement. They don't know nothing about it. No, they don't know. Of course, they don't know anything about it. Yeah. How come it's around the same time when this agreement will be signed, an agreement they say they knew nothing about, that his colleague, the minister responsible for lands, allowed the following? I have at least 17 titles that were issued. The 4th of November 2020. As I said, no, well, when he referred to them, was rogue government, the UDP rogue government, they sold 50.1 acres of seafront. Seafront. To One Key Star Limited for $33,193 and 25 cents, you know. They collect the 25 cents.
They got Keystone building, I believe.
So I guess so.
On a point of order,
what is the?
My question is, why did the Minister of Finance bring the Portico agreement to Cabinet, Madam Speaker? As a party, we have accepted the wrongs of former ministers.
What's the point of order?
The point of order is the standing order does not allow the member to engage in irrelevance and repetition. He's not answering the question. What does what the minister sold in lands have to do with the question? Why did you bring the Portico agreement with the legislation to be passed in the House?
During the heated exchange, the Prime Minister said that a total of 850 acres of land were sold for the rock-bottom price of $117,000. He says those properties were acquired by Portico a few weeks later.
The definitive agreement is useless without land. All of these lands, 4th of November, 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 every single one of them, see? All of them. If you want, I will give you copies. And then you can ask your deputy leader, the Minister of Natural Resources, the honorable member from Corozal North, if he took this to cabinet and asked if you could sign it, because Erwin Contreras can't sign the definitive agreement before he go to cabinet. But then the honorable member from Corozal North can sign these things on the 4th of November because it's a package. The land. Listen to me. They on the 4th of November signed over 850 acres for $117,993.
Where is it?
Right, the land, and guess what? A few weeks later, a few months later, guess who buy the land?
Portico.
Portico. Thank you very much. It's a package, Madam Speaker. It's a scam from day one. But yet, the leader of the opposition is going on every radio station, on any camera they put on his face to say, oh, it's the UDP, the PUP supports and the PUP did.
Coming up, FECTAB executives want no part of definitive agreement. Find out the details of this story when we come back.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus." I have always felt that one of the most uncomfortable times of the day in Belize City is around 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. It is about that time each day that one part of Belize City is cut off from the other, as the drawbridges are opened up to allow the boats to leave and then to return. Many years ago, it became very obvious to me that it was 2 or 3 bridges that connect the city and make it accessible to the people. As I stand often at the drawbridge downtown and wait, I pause for a moment to thank God that there is another bridge that every person should become acquainted with and use. It is a bridge to God. It is a bridge of the cross of Jesus Christ. It is through Jesus Christ and His cross that men separated from God can be brought back to God. Man no longer has to feel separated and estranged from God. The Bible says Jesus is the one bridge, the one mediator who can give us access to God. He can span the deepest chasm. He can cross the widest river. Come by faith today and trust Him as your Savior. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Let me tell you something about your corrupt definitive UDP definitive agreement. That was not approved by my cabinet. We did not approve it. I am telling you right now, this no good for nothing. So all of that nice one they make, no good, nothing. You know why? Because we are going to do what's right by Belize. Hypocrisy of these people. We will discuss with the key stakeholders, including Royal Caribbean, one of the leading cruise lines in the world, as well as our legitimate partners. And with full transparency, Madam Speaker, we will do only what is good for the tourism industry and good for Belize.
Reporters had an opportunity to speak with both the leader of the opposition and Prime Minister John Brisenia outside the National Assembly following the debate on the definitive agreement. Opposition leader Barrow said that he reached out to Senator Michael Perfeet after Prime Minister John Brisenia brought to light that questionable email on the definitive agreement. Well, according to Barrow, Perfeet denied having any direct communications related to Portico Enterprises Limited. Barrow was also asked if he has any knowledge of the 800+ acres of public land that were sold under the former Minister of Natural Resources, Hugo Pat, which purportedly ended up in the hands of Portico Enterprises Limited. On the other hand, Prime Minister Brisenia says his administration is prepared to make all these documents public.
Well, again, I would like for him to say that publicly, because in Parliament you're protected by immunity. So I will not repeat that. I would like for him to share the email with the media and to actually put proof to what he's saying. I know that the Attorney General and I spoke on the matter, and his position is that he was fully divested from his law firm as the law requires, and that he had absolutely no interaction with the law firm on any matter, certainly not this matter. The member from Alberts and the member from Collett, maybe you could get an interview with him. They both sat on the Cabinet Subcommittee for Investment. And so while they claim, you can ask them better than me, they claim that they didn't know anything about a definitive agreement. I can assure you that there would be no proof of the former Attorney General, Senator Perry, in communication with anyone. His law partner, okay, but he was divested from the firm.
The leader of the opposition is saying, Perifit says you are lying.
Well, the email is there for everyone to see, and if he wants me to release the email, I can certainly do so.
Okay, so they're saying also in relation to Ugo Pat, the same things, that they're unsure if this is what happened as you are painting it.
Well, the records are there. I mean, and I think we'll be getting the documents very shortly. You're going to see the titles that were signed on the 4th of November of 2020. Who was the Minister of Natural Resources? It was Ugo Pat. And then afterwards you could trace it, and you could find after that most, if not all, of those lands were sold to Portico.
But is Portico's agreement legally binding? When reporters posed that question today to Prime Minister John Briceño, his answer was that such a determination is for the courts. Prime Minister Briceño also disputed claims that the definitive agreement was taken before Cabinet with a strong recommendation for approval. According to the Prime Minister, there was immediate consensus within Cabinet that the agreement would not receive its approval.
What I was saying, when any substantive minister signs an agreement, as the minister, that agreement tends to be binding. As I told you, I did not see the definitive agreement, so I can't comment on the definitive agreement. I was speaking about the action of a minister. You may have policy that a minister would have to go through the committee, but that's policy. The law is that as what Minister Fonseca read out from the lawyer Douglas Mendes from Trinidad and Tobago, he said that on the full face of it, it seems that it could be binding, but until you go to court, you will know whether it is binding or not.
March 1st, you had said you hadn't seen it. No, I didn't. When did you see it?
I saw it long afterwards, because it is, other people deal with that stuff. And then when it was time to come to Cabinet, I went through it quickly, and I said this has to go to the Cabinet for decision, to either accept or not to accept. And we quickly, immediately as the discussion started, we decided we are going to accept it, and we move forward. So I can't go more into details about the Cabinet as it's doing. So.
But the recommendation contained in that Cabinet paper was for it to be accepted.
Can I repeat again, when you write a Cabinet paper, that's what you do, asking the Cabinet if they want to accept it or not. You don't put or not, you just say if the Cabinet is going to accept it. It went to Cabinet, nothing was hidden from anyone, everybody had a copy of the definitive agreement, and then we had a very short discussion, because immediately Cabinet felt, this we don't believe that was a good agreement.
Prime Minister John Briceño also confirmed that the government of Belize is engaged in discussions with Royal Caribbean. The cruise company has entered into a memorandum of understanding with Portico and Buscalis, with the condition that the project receives legislative support from the National Assembly. The leader of the opposition has called on the government not to engage in any negotiations with Royal Caribbean, given the controversial nature of the definitive agreement. But Prime Minister John Briceño contends that the opposition leader is being hypocritical.
This is the hypocrisy of the leader of the opposition. They were the ones that were doing all these negotiations right up to when they signed the UDP definitive agreement, and not to say that we should not. Listen, I'll repeat it, we will always do what is in the best interest of Belize. We've always supported, and that's the whole unfortunate, or maybe the irony of this, is that we have supported Michael Finstein every step of the way. I don't want to say what all I have done for him as Prime Minister, but he knows it. But his project is stalled. Waterloo, we gave an opportunity to go to the NIAC, as I said to the main investor from Waterloo, as long as you go through and you pass, you get your NIAC approval, the government will support you. Portico, for one reason or the other, got approval from the NIAC. Now they are working on their implementation plan. But between working towards that implementation plan, there are a number of things that you have to do. You have to look for other investors. When they got Royal Caribbean and Buscalis, two internationally recognized companies, they came to us and said, we are prepared to invest. The people from Royal Caribbean, the vice president, two of the vice presidents, I met with them personally in my office here in Belize City, and they said, we are in, we think this is the best place because it will have, you could minimize, they believe that they will minimize whatever changes or damages that you have to the environment, because whenever you do any construction, there is an effect, positive or negative. And they believe that that's the best part, and that's why they said they want to invest there. But because it's such a large investment, they said, well, we want to ensure that the National Assembly, as should be done, like with BSI and Stake Bank and Harvest Key and others, that they want to ensure that once that is passed, then they're prepared to come in. And so all we were doing was just trying to facilitate a project that was started before our time.
While the Prime Minister trashed the original version of the definitive agreement for all to see, the Federation of Cruise Tourism Association of Belize held a press conference simultaneously on the same agreement and its condemnation of the document. FECTAB objected to any part of the agreement being passed, and today they criticized the government for not wholly trashing the document from the onset when they discovered its existence. Executive member Yoni Rosado explained that the government had all right from day one not to honor the document based on legal comments made in that regard. And after they were informed that the PM had trashed the document, FECTAB's president, David Almendarez, said he hoped that action meant that the government was cancelling the entire contents of the agreement.
I hope not come back and renegotiate, because we got tendency to tear up things and pop it, and then renegotiate with it in the game. Because I know people are going to buy me every minute. Why are they going that far?
The biggest liars of this country have said that it is not a legal document. Now, no, we say, that the legal minds have said it already on record.
Almendarez questioned why the document was even taken to the cabinet for consideration and slammed the Prime Minister for doing so on the basis that the agreement would exclude Belizeans from making any meaningful money from it. FECTAB's President Emeritus Tom Greenwood also chided Belizeans for not taking a collective stance when governments make decisions that are not in their best interest.
Whenever anything from outside comes in here, everybody kisses its butt, no matter what it's doing. But the moment a native Belizean comes up with an idea and a plan, as magnificent as it might be, it is crushed into pieces and thrown away, if possible. There's this thing about native Belizeans must not advance. And this is what catches us many times. Right now, I'm watching the whole Stake Bank scenario. And it's the same thing happening. That place is being pushed by an entirely 100% native Belizean family. And in my judgment, it's a viable thing. If there are some mistakes here and there, okay. But it's a viable thing.
I want to know one. Who know about the document? Did the Prime Minister read the document personally before he made the document left for your office and gone to the cabinet? If the answer is no, you, Mr. Prime Minister, need to resign. Because you're untalented. If the answer is yes, then you probably need to get charged for treason. Because then you're more than untalented. How, in a 2023, I call it one dead race document. Dead race. stink and dirty. It's amazing, you know, because a lot of people don't watch the seriousness. If this deal go down, my grand picnic, your grand picnic, will get $0 from it.
After the break, CWU and Stevedore stage peaceful rally outside of Port of Belize. We'll tell you more on that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Presents the Belize International Music and Food Festival Savor the Rhythm Pre-Festival Tour Punta Gorda. The Belize International Music and Food Festival Savor the Rhythm Pre-Festival Tour Punta Gorda goes down Saturday, June 17th from 7 p.m. to midnight at the George Price Welcome Plaza. There's going to be cash prizes and a professional music studio recording session to be awarded. Don't miss out on the after party with the New Edition Band with free entrance all night long. The Belize Tourism Board's Belize International Music and Food Festival 2.0 Savor the Rhythm Pre-Festival Tour Punta Gorda. Don't miss it. Sponsored by Smart, Coca-Cola, Bellikin, the Punta Gorda Town Council, Digi Wallet, the Angeles Press Limited, Travelers Liquors.
This definitive agreement no worth nothing to us. But it is my responsibility as Prime Minister. I don't hide anything from my cabinet. I bring everything from my cabinet. That's why we have 15, sometimes much as 20 cabinet papers every week. Because I tell every cabinet minister, you have to bring everything in this cabinet for us to look at, to discuss, and agree as a group. This is not a one-man show. Like previously, for the past 13 years, one man we know may run the entire government. This is a government collective, that we work collectively, we work together, we work united. That is why we have managed to turn things around.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
I think that 27 dropped tonight, huh? But you think so? Tonight I think that 24.
That Belize, you have rice and beans, chips and dip, bolido, and son de la tre. Bolido, that is part of our national identity. And as much as most of we may enjoy it here and there, the bottom line is, one company had 100% ownership of it. And nothing wrong with owning a business, you know. But when it comes to we bolido, you can't own that and be transparent. You can't report on winnings and sales when you feel like. You can't audit the machine when you feel like. And you definitely can't hide the records under your mattress. But no, that bolido and Sunday Latch will be for we again. We will be able to enjoy the excitement and profits of it. And that's a double win for us.
Today, outside the Port of Belize Limited compound on Cesar Ridge Road, the Christian Workers Union gathered for a peaceful rally. They were issued a permit for the demonstration that was to be held between 9 a.m. and 12 o'clock. Despite the late start, the group cleared the area at midday and finished off the event at Rogers Stadium in Belize City. The activity comes on the heels of a notice of strike action 1 week ago by the Christian Workers Union on behalf of the Stevedores. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
It's been 1 week since the Christian Workers Union, as the bargaining agent for the Stevedores, has put the Ministry of Labour on notice of strike action as a result of an impasse in negotiations with Port of Belize Limited. And so today, they organized the rally to send a message to GOB and the port.
Our message is like the song says, solidarity. Solidarity for Stevedores, solidarity for the entire unionized Belize. Okay?
The issue at hand, we know that you guys have issued a 21-day notice of strike action as is set out by the law. Let's talk about that.
We had no choice than to issue the notice of strike because on the other side we have no one to negotiate with. There was a time when we sat at the table to negotiate, the port was not there. We can't talk to ourselves. We've waited for the ministry to come in. They've been slow, and I say it's a lukewarm response that we continue to get. And as Belizean, as Stevedores, as workers participating in the democracy of this country, we deserve better than that. Or Stevedores deserve better than that.
The dispute between Stevedores and the port is over what CW says is PBL's refusal to abide by the Essential Services Arbitration Tribunal award that was handed down on January 27, 2022. The port has said that the strike notice is unreasonable and that it is based on the union's misconceived interpretation of the ruling. CW President Lenora Flowers says that there was loss experienced by the Stevedores and the quantum needs to be determined.
The award says compensation for the loss, and there has been a loss. They keep saying there is no redundancy. The letter said there is a loss of income. That is all we want them to recognize. They have recognized that, but they failed to do the next step, abide by what the ESAT has decided.
What is the amount that the Stevedores are claiming? Do you know?
That is to be negotiated. That is why the ESAT said come back to the table and negotiate an award. The port has failed to act on the ESAT. There is certain award that they should respond to. They have flatly refused. The tribunal has given its directive and they have flatly decided that they will not abide by it. It would appear that the government, who is supposed to have the back of the people, is also not stepping up to do what it's supposed to do. So we need to do what is under the law and give the 21 days.
Flowers says that while the ministry had acknowledged receipt of its notice, it was only until today, 7 days later, that the Labour Commissioner reached out to the union.
We got an email to say that the notice has been forwarded to the minister and he's aware of our notice. Well, we know Saturday, Sunday, Monday we expected a response from the minister. From the government, there has been nothing. Like we see on this side, it has been crickets. It has been completely silent. Now today, when we come out for the peace rally, there was a physical person coming over here to say the LC wants to speak to us. We were blown away by that approach. It's quite unorthodox. But like I said to her, you can take, this is on record, we see it as nothing less than a lukewarm approach to something, to a situation that is untenable.
Although a number of police officers were on the ground, the event was without incident.
I speak on behalf of the police. I would not dare to do that, but maybe they're protecting us. We will say thank you for that. For an additional time, but we knew that it would probably not be afforded to us. It's just that we got off to a late start. But we're going to move to a new location and we're going to continue with the peaceful rally.
14 days left to go. Will all parties return to the negotiating table or will Stevedores go on strike at the end of the month? Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The Brisenia administration sought the approval of the House of Representatives for an additional $69 million to be appropriated for use by the public service. The bill was introduced inside the National Assembly by Prime Minister John Brisenia, who outlined his administration's plan for the use of the funds.
We stand here today proudly to seek the approval of this Honorable House for the proposed supplementary appropriation set forth in this bill. From those Taiwanese proceeds, $21 million will be prioritized for urban infrastructure development, while another $7 million will be utilized for other improvements. Through this administration's efforts, more than $10 million in grants have been secured, $7 million of which comes from the Republic of China, Taiwan. These grants are earmarked for numerous much needed initiatives. This includes $2.3 million in the National Healthy Start Feeding Program, $1.9 million for the Wi-Fi internet in schools, $1.5 million for a water well rig truck, and $1.3 million for a water system in Guinea Grass. Besides the Taiwanese loan proceeds, there are several other projects for which implementation continues and for which disbursement proceeds are required. This includes over $3.5 million for the continued execution of the Education Quality Improvement Program from the IDB, $2 million from CDB for the Philip Golson Highway and Remate Bypass upgrading projects, $2 million in GOB counterpart funding for the Resilient Rural Belize project, $800,000 towards the digitalization of vital statistics.
Additionally, GOB is capitalizing the National Bank of Belize with $5 million, and $1 million is being earmarked to construct a new primary school in St. Matthew's Village. Funds are also being allocated to upgrade the Sarstoon forwarding base. Opposition leader Shine Barrow rose to criticize the Brisenia administration. He argued that many of the objectives contained within this supplementary appropriation bill should have been considered in the 2023-2024 budget that was debated 2 months ago. Here is an excerpt from the opposition leader's remarks.
I don't know if Chris Coe is deliberately trying to sabotage you, as you can see with the Portico agreement. But you need to stop listening to him, because the budget planning that you have overseen over the last 3 fiscal years has been a complete disaster. It reeks of incompetence. We are 60 days removed from a budget being presented in this honorable House, Madam Speaker, and it is unprecedented that a supplementary would be brought to this House a mere 60 days removed from the reading of the budget and the passing of the budget, Madam Speaker. The opposition can understand St. Matthew's. Now we're talking about $69 million supplementary, so that the Belizean people can understand. After we just passed an almost $2 billion budget, Madam Speaker. And supplementary appropriations bills are to be presented to this honorable House when emergencies take place. It is for spending that was not anticipated, Madam Speaker. So, St. Matthew's, we understand that. The narco war in Corazal, I can understand having to reinforce our troops and our security forces, Madam Speaker. But when you look at something like the base that he said when the former Minister of National Security, the former UDP minister, when he would visit the base, when he stands on the base sinks. So you just realize that 2 months after you pass the budget?
When we return, going once, going twice, police department auctions off seized items.
HRCU is thrilled to announce the launch of our new online banking services designed to put you in control of your financial future. To take advantage of our new services, you will need to know your updated 16-digit account number. You'll enjoy 24/7 access to your accounts, send and receive payments to other credit unions and banks effortlessly, pay your bills online with ease. Need to make a loan payment? Done from the comfort of your own home. Have your government benefits deposited directly into your account, hassle-free. Applying for a loan? Easy. Apply online with just a few clicks. And don't worry, we'll be here to guide you through the transition every step of the way. Visit hrcubelize.org for more details on our exciting new online banking services. HRCU, making a difference in people's lives.
Did you know that there's a way to protect yourself from getting the hepatitis B virus?
If left untreated, hepatitis B can cause chronic liver infection and put people at a high risk of death.
Fortunately, a safe and effective vaccine for hepatitis B is available for everyone.
Hepatitis B is not only life-threatening, but highly infectious.
It is spread through contact with blood and other bodily fluids from an infected person.
Common modes of infection include mother-to-child transmission during birth, having sex without a condom, using unsterilized tattoo or piercing equipment, or even sharing razors, washcloths, or toothbrushes.
Remember, a tiny amount of blood, too small to see, is enough to infect you with hepatitis B.
There is no cure for hepatitis B, and symptoms often do not present themselves early, so many people might not know they are infected. The only way to know is to get tested.
So talk to your healthcare provider about getting tested and vaccinated to protect yourself and others from hepatitis B.
Everyone is potentially at risk of being infected, so don't wait to vaccinate.
Visit any healthcare facility countrywide to speak with a healthcare provider about getting tested and vaccinated for hepatitis B.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
The definitive agreement between Portico Enterprises Limited and the government of Belize was signed by Erwin Contreras, then UDP cabinet minister with responsibility for economic development and investment. It was executed in October 2020 by the then UDP administration, 1 month before the general elections of November 2020. The definitive agreement was prepared by the law firm of Morales and Perifit, the private law firm of the then Attorney General. While serving as the Attorney General of Belize, the private law firm of Morales and Perfit was paid by Portico to negotiate this UDP agreement with the UDP government. It was Morales and Perfit, the law firm, who benefited directly from the negotiation of the terms of this UDP definitive agreement. Talk about conflict of interest.
Throughout the year, the Belize Police Department comes in possession of a number of items through raids, seizures, and spot checks that are conducted across the country. Many times, those items are left with the department long after they are used as evidence in court cases. But whatever personal possessions civilians do not claim within a 6-month period after the court disposes of the case is then sold. Today, the department held an auction after a couple years on pause. News 5's Marian Ali was there and has this report.
It's an annual event for the Belize Police Department, but since COVID, the department has put a hold on its auction. The event gives civilians a chance to take home second-hand items at extremely cheap prices. It also clears the inventory to make space for fresh seizures or stolen items. Hector Rodriguez was the officer from the prosecution's branch in charge of the event.
We had bicycles, mainly bicycles, motorcycles, and a few electronic items as well.
And they came from?
They came from different districts. Some of the items are stolen or found property or abandoned property. Some of them are items that are concluded in court and have been forfeited to the government of Belize.
But not everything that is forfeited is sold to the public.
Only items that can be used safely by the public or can be repaired and make use of, those are items that are sold.
No guns?
No guns, no weapons, no kind of weapons.
No life vests?
No.
Bulletproof vests?
No. Apart from the bicycles and the motorcycles, we also had a few TVs, laptops, electronic devices.
No cars?
No, no cars.
One woman we met brought a pickup truck to load a stash of damaged bicycles and motorcycles she had just purchased. Ms. Graham told us off camera that with a little repair or replacement of parts, her entire family will be mobile. What's all this?
It's a motorcycle and two motorcycles and a couple bicycles.
Okay, so you paid how much for those?
Different price. The bicycle is $5 and the motorcycle varies from 1 change to 2 change.
Is it a business for you? Like, will you repair them and sell them again, or?
No, I buy it for my personal use. I will repair it and use them.
That's a lot of modes of transportation, though.
Yes, because I have kids. So
your family?
Yes, so my family.
Okay. How difficult is it to repair the motorcycle? Some of them are crash vehicles.
Well, if you get one in a really bad shape, then it'll be kind of difficult. But the ones where I get not in a bad shape to that extent, so that just manually wiring and change the body and you're good.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Early Sunday morning, there was a suspected arson on Rivera Street in Belize City that gutted 2 wooden houses adjacent to each other. And while 3 families have been left without a roof over their heads, they are battling yet another issue. Today, News 5 headed back to the area where the fire victims claim that they are being harassed by the police. On Thursday evening, 5 of the men, including a 17-year-old minor, were taken into custody. According to the family, they are being accused of being members of a gang. At News Time tonight, the men are still detained, one of whom had received burns to his body during the fire.
Just losing a home and then being harassed by the police coming every so often. You know, the guys could be in the yard and still they're just coming my son was the one who got injured. The other day they came, he had to take off his pants, outside in just boxers, checking through his dreads for what? You know, I mean, it is frustrating. I mean, we're going through our crisis at this moment to be harassed by the police. And the thing is, we have other neighbors that have guys lingering around, you know, that we would say, but this is the house, or this is the yard that they target 24/7 and more. When the house got burned, we didn't see any police. You know, a shot was fired yesterday. I'm not sure from which direction or where. The first thing they came was for the guys, you know. I mean, it's just frustrating to know that you're being targeted for nothing. I am not going to come here and say, okay, then my sons are saints, because I'm not going to put my head on the block for no one, you know. But at the end of the day, when it came to yesterday, I know for a fact the boys were in this yard, you know. The police passed like 2 times. They saw them in this yard, you know, and after that you see like 4 truck came, like, I mean, like real criminals.
Monday, they come to take up picture in the yard. Nobody not in the yard because they don't got no way to go. Okay, when the young man they come home, the police then start Monday and they harass them. Over every 20-25 minutes, they come and harass the picnic. This is not familiar, darling. The children they don't got no way to go. Huh? And then they tell them, go. What pan ain't got to go? Then you wouldn't want to say last night while he shooting, everybody run out to come see where they going. My son run out of bed, come out here, they grab everybody. They come first, grab me up the ball and pull me. Then they gone and come back not even 5 minutes. They come back, put handcuff on and they are carrying out the station and they tell we that how then they charge them for gang relative. It's not a family yard, no gang, no there.
Last night I asked them what they were going to get, why are they holding them? They said they were holding them for littering in the yard. I don't know how can you be charged for littering when you're in your yard. And then before we left, they said they were going to get charged for being a gang. I told them that that's ridiculous. I mean, what gang? What gang? You know, we're in this. They're in this yard all the time. You know, so what gang? Fabas Road gang? I have no idea.
Dulce Sanchez and Joan Ramsey say that police targeting the yard is bringing unnecessary negative attention to the families. So how do they get the harassment to stop?
It did dramatize me, darling. It did dramatize me. Watch this chaos. Only God knows how my house not get burned. Huh? It's a blessing from God. Lisa passed through, my house not get damaged neither. Only my gas tank and my washing machine. It's a blessing from God for me, but the more chaos.
I just wanted to stop because they're bringing heat to this yard. So, and eventually someone will get hurt.
So how do you, what's the next step? Or do you make maybe an appeal to the Commissioner of Police or higher-ups to say, hey, we need some kind of intervention?
Yes, we do, and they even told me to go to Raccoon Street Police Station on Monday to make a report. So that's my next step. I mean, if I need to get a lawyer or something, you know, I'll have to do that because they have my minor in there. He's a minor. He's 17 years old as well, you know, holding for what? I've always said that I would never put myself on the media, but I mean, it's getting ridiculous and someone will get hurt, you know, because they're painting, they're coming here, you know, and people are seeing that. So from the time police is coming in and out of the yard, I mean, they say, okay, then, well, you're the bad guys, you know, you're the bad guys.
The New Beginnings Youth Development Center changed its name in May of 2022 from the Princess Royal Youth Hostel. Along with the name change came a new charter that included upgrades to the infrastructure and the quality of education and care that is offered to the youths who reside there. In fact, the facility transitioned from being a place of punishment to being a residential care facility. 13 months later, there are some lingering challenges that the institution faces. Minister of Human Development Dolores Balderramos Garcia shared with News 5 that the issues have to do with a few of the staff.
We're still having some challenges there in terms of the counselors, in terms of the social workers. It is still a work in progress, even though we did the name change and we did a lot of upgrading to the physical infrastructure. We did a lot of upgrading to the teaching that is going on with the children. All of them were enrolled either in school physically or virtually. So we've done a lot, but we are still having some challenges there. And then, of course, we have the statutory bodies that work with us, the National Council on Aging, the National Women's Commission, and the National Commission for Families and Children.
Up next, a father and son bond through football.
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
A lot has been made by the UDP minions and their agents of the fact that this UDP agreement was brought before our cabinet, our PUP cabinet. And as Mr. Mendes advised, whether we like it or not, the agreement represents a potential legal liability to the government of Belize until otherwise established by a court of law. So the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development, Investment had a duty and obligation to bring the matter before the cabinet for discussion and review. And as the Prime Minister has said very clearly, even demonstrated it, our PUP cabinet rejected the UDP agreement. So, Madam Speaker, that UDP baby is dead.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
On the third Sunday of June, we celebrate the father figures, and the men that have mentored our children. And since the acknowledgement of great fathers has already begun, we went in search of this week's look on the bright side. It's a story of a man embracing fatherhood, its joys and challenges. Sabrina had a sit-down with a familiar face in sports, but his role as a father deserves commendation too.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
Ian Yellow Guinaire takes over the field whenever a ball touches the pitch. The moment the well-known football player became a dad, however, his kids took over his heart.
I became a dad like 13 years ago, and I don't think that I'm really ready for it at the time. I'm a kid, but I never think that I was ready for, you know, for be a father and for hold all the responsibilities for my own. But with time, you know, everything work out and you start look for life different.
They say daughters soften a father's heart, but it's the father and son bond that is uniquely different. Ian Guinaire shared with us that his son is his king.
Now I got my king, my son. I mean, some people look upon it like I only have one child, because my son is everywhere. Everywhere I go, he goes. As long as he could go, you know, I take him everywhere. And football, he have a passion for it that I have nothing to do with that. I give my son an opportunity to make he decide what he wants, and you know, he loves football. So, I mean, I'm glad that he loves football, where I could teach him a lot with all my experience.
Yellow believes his son has the potential to make it further than he did as an athlete. At 8 years old, Azir trains with the Belize national team, which his father is also a member. But the goal is to see his son play the sport they love at the highest level.
Who taught you to play football?
My dad.
What did he teach you?
To do skills and passing the ball.
And is your dad really special to you?
Yes, Mom.
How is he special?
He buys anything I want.
He buys anything that you want?
he have his own training, and when he's not training, he's with my team. And what I do is sometimes I would put him to train to do the same thing my team is doing, you know, and he and someone else would be on the side juggling the ball, passing the ball, but the same thing, if not with me. And when I come out, I can watch my son play, you know, everybody say, you done better, your pa. I'm proud of them kind of talking, because I want my son, you know, be better than me. So every day I am behind him, because I want tomorrow, when he sign a big contract, I could say, he did for me, you know.
The relationship between a father and son is critical in shaping a boy to a man, one Ian wished he experienced while growing up. In parenthood, he uses the absence of his father as a child as motivation to ensure that his son doesn't have that experience. Allowing a space for Azir to feel his emotions and speak about them is also important to him.
My mother raised me by own, you know, and I'm a wish I may have my dad around, you know, at an early stage for kind of nurture me and show me where this world really about, you know, and guide me, because, you know, at a very young age when you learn the most things, you adapt to most things. So with my son, I never have a father around, and my son have me wrong. So because I never get the chance to have any emotions when I'm small, because my mama had to work 2 jobs, you know, so I had to battle it by my own, and I never had nobody to go to cry to like that, because I mean, like what you say, I had a boy, I had a man, I would never want to go to my man and go lean on my mama's shoulder and cry to her and tell her my problems, which I still may end up have to do, but I would have rather do the father-son thing, you know, and I don't really knock my path never they're wrong, but I think I'm missing that when I'm small, and I will give my son everything I never have, like, especially with that.
Establishing a strong and healthy relationship with his son by doing the things he wanted to do with his own father helped Yellow with forgiveness.
Yeah, me and my son go to church. We do everything, we do things I never did when I was young, you know. So I try just do things out of the box and do things that I always want in my time. It heal a whole lot, for real, it heal a whole lot. And we always, you know, go around my dad, and my dad even tell me he admire the way I deal with my son, because I know he explained to me why he never did wrong at the time, you know, and I forgive my pa, you know.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
From now on, when you visit Uno, you will experience an A+ power in all fuels. Dynamax has evolved into Dynamax Plus. The new formula with the ultimate technology and additives provides an A+ power and A+ performance. Dynamax Plus, available in diesel, regular and premium. Try it today and reach further. Uno, a different energy.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, we would like to wish all dads a happy Father's Day. Good night.